The OFDC C12 is an environmentally sealed enclosure that provides the function of splicing up to 96 single splices, as well as the option of patching up to 12 SC or 24 LC connectors, and integrating splitters or optical taps. The closure is supplied with a wrap-around gel block for cable sealing that makes it compliant with an IP68 rating, withstanding up to 2 meters waterhead. The QR code on the box links to product collateral such as installation instructions and installation videos. CommScope's C-Track phone app is recommended for scanning. This app also allows searching by serial number as well as scanning barcodes. In the box you will find the closure with the organizer inside, the gel block, two accessory bags, one holding port plugs, cable retention hardware, large zip ties, and foam tape. The other contains transport tubing, foam tape, gel tape, both black and white zip ties, and a lid wedge. Open the enclosure by lifting the latches using a flathead screwdriver. Remove the organizer and, if needed, install the metal wedge on the cover hinge. Slide the gel block onto the organizer. Verify the correct orientation, making sure the screw is underneath the tray. If using a splice-only closure, install the two empty adapter panels in place. They will be used as fiber guides. For mid-span applications, make an opening of 86 inches or 218 centimeters, centered on a switchback. For a step-by-step instruction on how to prep the mid-span, please refer to its dedicated video instruction. Armored cables that are to be grounded should be prepared by slitting the jacket and armor 7/8 of an inch or 22 millimeters from the jacket end 2 times 180 degrees apart. Remove the jacket from half of the opening to expose half of the armor. This will provide enough armor to attach a bond clamp. For detailed instructions on grounding, please visit the dedicated grounding video. There are two different retention brackets supplied with the OFDC C12 enclosures depending on the model. One uses a metal lug for strength member fixation. There are two large lugs for strength members that are larger than 1/4 inch or 6.6 millimeters in diameter, and 4 smaller lugs for strength members that are less than 1/4 inch or 6.6 millimeters in diameter. The other bracket uses a metal plate and screw for retaining the strength members. To see the process for the bracket with plate and screw, skip ahead to timestamp indicated on the screen. Trim the cable strength member to the length for the supplied bracket by lining up the jacket end with the main body of the bracket. Then cut the strength member at the length of the supplied bracket. Apply a layer of foam tape at the jacket ends. Secure the strength member with the metal lug. Secure the two jacket ends on the innermost positions of the bracket with the supplied hose clamps. Orient hose clamp heads outwards and facing up. For the branch cable installation, Use a 45-inch or 11.4 centimeter opening and follow the same fixation process. Hose clamp heads should be oriented inwards and facing up. For cables that fall within the undersized cable range highlighted in the table on screen, wrap 2 inches or 50 millimeters of gel tape onto the part of the cable that lands inside the gel block. Then, add 3 wraps of foam tape on the outside of the gel tape. This will help the closure seal and prevent contaminants from getting under the gel tape. Cable retention process remains the same. Trim the cable strength member to length for the supplied bracket by lining up the jacket end with the main body of the bracket and cutting the strength member at the desired length of the supplied bracket. Apply a layer of foam tape at the jacket ends. Secure the strength member with the plate and screw. Secure the 2 jacket ends on the innermost positions of the bracket with the supplied hose clamps. Orient hose clamp heads outwards and facing up. For branch cable installation, use a 45-inch opening. Note that the strain relief of the branch cable does not include the strength member. Apply foam on each side of the bracket as shown and secure with 2 hose clamps. The hose clamp heads should be oriented inwards and facing down. For cables that fall within the undersized cable range highlighted in the table on screen, wrap 2 inches or 50 millimeters of gel tape onto the part of the cable that lands inside the gel block. Then, add 3 wraps of foam tape on the outside of the gel tape. This will help the closure seal and prevent contaminants from getting under the gel tape. Cable retention process remains the same. Open the gel block. Locate the tabs above the feeder cable ports. Squeeze the top and bottom tabs towards each other on both sides simultaneously and lift upwards. Install the assembly to the organizer. It should snap fit on both sides. Install port plugs on unused ports. Be certain the tubes are free and that no rip cords, binders, or foam tape protrude down into the gel block. Reinstall that portion of the gel block. For loose tube cable construction, separate the tube required for splicing. It is highly recommended that the tubes are kept in a bundle stranded together for storage. This will minimize the risk of kinking. Place this bundle of tubes over top of the buffer tube that will be used for splicing for cleaner routing. Attach the bundle with tie wraps. Rotate the organizer so the splice tray side is facing upwards. Open the splice tray and remove the plastic tray cover. Remove the 900 micron tails from the tray. Route the buffer tubes to be spliced around the organizer and mark the tubes at the tie down points. Add one wrap of foam tape and secure with cable ties. Guide the tubes carefully onto the splicing area of the organizer. Make a mark on all tubes halfway through the straight section of the landing area. This mark indicates the point from where the tube jacket needs to be removed. When using microsheath cable, remove jacket in the middle of the storage side of the organizer and transition to the front of the organizer using transport tubing as shown. Separate fibers to be spliced as needed and cut to length per local practice. Store the through fibers and the dark fiber to the field using the storage pocket as shown. For splicing, remove the 900 micron coating to splice as needed. Be certain to use only 45mm splice protectors. Sidecar tone wires should never be brought into the closure. If the drop cable has a tone wire sidecar, the tone wire will need to be separated from the cable at least 6 inches or 15.5 centimeters back from the prepared cable end. Be certain to remove any jacket web material that is left behind as a result of separating the tone wire from the cable. Install one wrap of foam tape 2¼ inches or 57 millimeters from the cable jacket end. The foam tape should align directly over the T-bracket. Secure the cable with 2 cable ties. Place the first cable tie low so that it is positioned against the inside of the T. The second cable tie should zip in the opposite direction of the first one. Place the second cable tie so it is positioned between the first cable tie and the closure. Cut the ends of the cable ties as close to the cable tie head as possible. For connectorized applications, clean both ends of the connection and connect the drop. Form a small loop before making the connection. For splice-only applications, remove 39 inches or 1 meter of cable jacket. Route the fiber through the appropriately assigned bulkhead adapter and continue routing the fiber to the splice tray. When the drop cable diameters are smaller than 0.21 inches or 5.5 millimeters, it is possible to stack 2 drops in one port. The process for installing drop cables is essentially the same regardless of the type of drop cable used. The use of a gel strip is mandatory. Measure and cut the gel strip to 0.8 inches or 2 centimeters. Place the gel strip on the gel block above the drop port to be used. Put the cable on top of the gel strip and then push the drop cable down. Secure the exterior portion of the drop cable with 2 cable ties over the foam tape, existing drop cable and external T-bracket. Cut the cable ties as close to the cable tie head as possible. The OFDC C12 is designed to accept field installable passive optical devices such as optical taps and splitters. These field installable devices are installed by the means of the same dovetail interface used to hold the splice holders in the organizer. There are 4 such interfaces on the top tray and 4 on the bottom tray. At least one of these splice holders will have to be removed to install a field installable device. Begin by removing the clear lid by pulling it straight up using the finger holes. Next, remove the fiber pick on the side of the organizer housing to aid in the removal of a splice chip. Insert the pointed end into the lower left small square hole located near the center of the splice chip. Apply slight downward pressure while simultaneously sliding the splice chip to the left until the splice chip releases. To install a passive optical device, simply place the chip above and slightly to the left of center of the dovetails. Then slide it to the right while simultaneously applying light downward pressure on the chip until it locks into place. Verify that it is locked into place. Route all fibers to the hinge side of the tray using a figure 8 to maintain the correct bend radius. Install a transportation tube onto the fibers. A spiral tube will be required if fibers are connectorized. Secure the transportation tube with 2 cable ties and route the tube over the top and into the main organizer tray. Put clear cover back on second tray. Note, fiber may be damaged if bent or curved to a radius that is less than the recommended minimum bend radius. Always observe the recommended bend radius limit when installing passive optical devices. For connectorized ends, route the pigtails through the channel towards the right side of the organizer and into the splice tray, and store overlength into the pocket. Connect each connector to the appropriate bulkhead following the appropriate color sequence. Place the clear cover back over the splice compartment. To install the organizer into the enclosure housing, slide the organizer under the 2 top screws. Tighten the lower screw and then the 2 top screws. Do not over tighten. Remove the wedge and secure with the tether. Store wedge next to the organizer. Place dummy rods in all unused ports. Cable tie each one to a T-bracket. Close the lid and top 2 latches using a screwdriver for leverage. The bottom half of the cover can be lifted to access the patch panel. This part can be locked in an open position as shown. To close the bottom lid, rotate it down and place it onto the seal. Close the 2 bottom latches using a screwdriver for leverage. The OFDC C12 can be mounted in various environments. See the examples on the screen and available accessory kits.